We're trying to make it recognize crossing a dark surface and counting that until it counts various lines and then tell us how many lines it has counted.
Back at school, we are made to just, like I said before, to know things because this is the way they are. They don't try to go beneath the formulas and make you see how these things can apply to your real life.
The Nigerian education system is very old, and it was based on the older version of the British system. And it's very much focused on rote memorization. When I did school in Nigeria for like 2 years before I came back to the US. And while I was there, I just remember copying down notes, just, you know, a lot. That was all of my education. We'd spend hours at night just copying notes, and that's what we considered studying. By the time you finish copying down 3 copies of the 5-page your teacher put on the board that day, you know the stuff. At least you've memorized it. And what you get are students that can perform very well on written tests, and they can write down the right answer, select the right answer on a multiple choice question, but there was no critical thinking. You know, when you put these students, the products of that system, in a place where there's no structure, where there are no predefined questions for them to answer, they're disoriented and they don't know what to do.
Exposure Robotics League is a 5-week summer program to introduce Nigerian children to robotics and SAT.
Beyond it being like about robotics, it's just about exposing kids to things that are new to them. And also, like, I think it's more about the vision, like making kids realize you can do whatever you want to do after this, because we also talk about college applications and options when you graduate from SS3. I think it's just like providing kids with a dream and enabling them to like look for more options than what they already have in front of them.
Honestly, before I came to the program, I know very little about robotics. In fact, to be very honest, the much I know about it is from the one we watch in movies.
You have to use while loops, you have to use if statements, you have to think like a programmer, you have to be able to break up these different chores into smaller problems.
It's like you won a lottery or something. When you ask a non-living thing to move forward and it actually obeys you and it goes forward, you're like, wow, I feel like God or something. I'm a god of this robot. So when we make our program and our robot actually obeys, it's, I can say it's the best moment of our lives.
In the first day of the program, our kids, couldn't use computers. And by day 4, they're learning how to use computers by programming robots, which is unheard of in any country, anywhere in the world. They're learning how to use computers by programming robots. And by week 5 last year, and I'm sure the same is going to be the case this year, they were programming robots better than I think I can, better than some of the instructors can. And so it just goes to tell us how much potential we have in our kids and how much they can do with very little. So the sky is literally the limit for these kids and wherever they want to go.
First time, I gave them a practice exam to test their level on answering SAT questions, and I think they've gone from getting scores of 1,000 out of 2,400 to 1,005, 1,006 out of 2,400, and hopefully by the end of the program, they should be approaching the 2,000, 2,200 mark on the SAT.
What our program teaches them is to assess their environment, assess the situation, take what is there and then make something of it. Because there's no recipe for life, there's no recipe for success. You kind of just have to make do with what you have, and that's what our program teaches them.
I would say many things changed because when I came here, it was like, this is a definite path to solving a problem. From point A to point B is a straight line. There's no different way of going about it. But when we came here, we were made to see that even in real life, problems can be solved in different ways. There are many solutions to a particular problem. It just requires you to sit down and think critically. And we've been taught here to not just think well, we've been taught to think fast. So that has greatly improved both me as a person and how I feel about problems in Nigeria now.
I would like to use robotics to solve Nigerian major problems. We know our agricultural sector is
is gradually going down. So I'd like to restore it back to its former glory by creating a robot that goes around the field, preparing the field for planting, also helping planting, watering, and harvesting of the crops when it's time, while the humans will just go around supervising every day's activities and taking records of the crops that are damaged and the rest.
Kids have so much potential, and it's almost tragic that, you know, in a blink of an eye, you know, it just takes a year or two of missed opportunity for that potential to become, I don't know, to just disappear. And suddenly, like, the kid is just another kid on the street, or another Nigerian student, you know, struggling for admission at one of the few universities we have around here, or graduating and struggling for one of the few jobs we have around here. It's so easy for that to happen to them. But as they're here, and as we challenge them with all these difficult problems and introduce them to all this new material, seeing them grasp it so quickly and internalize it, and then start to build on top of that, you know, without our interference, it goes to illustrate how truly intelligent these kids are and how far they really could go if given the opportunity.
I'm very interested in seeing this replicated in different countries, different states in Nigeria and different countries across Africa, because they have the exact same problem that we have. They have the same problem where the kids are being taught to just learn things and spit them out in an exam, and not really understand that they can apply that outside the classroom. So ideally, I would like for this to be replicated in a bunch of different states in Nigeria and a bunch of different countries in Africa as well.